Welcome back to Campfire Whispers, your daily fix of horror stories, unsolved mysteries, and straight-up unbelievable content. My name is Eki, and today I'm sharing a story called Voices in Apartment 5A. When Marcus signed the lease for Apartment 5A, he thought he'd gotten lucky. The listing was vague, the pictures outdated, and the rent suspiciously low for a one-bedroom unit in the heart of the city. But he was desperate. Fresh out of a breakup, low on money, and eager to start over. The building itself stood on a quiet, forgotten street, wedged between two shuttered storefronts. It loomed tall, narrow, and gray, with soot-stained bricks and narrow windows that reflected nothing. The kind of place people passed without looking twice. The landlord was a tired-looking man in his 50s, with sallow skin and darting eyes. He barely spoke during the walkthrough. When Marcus asked about the low price, the landlord just shrugged. "It's old," he said. "People come and go. Apartment 5 as available if you want it. Just don't mess with the walls." That phrase echoed in Marcus's head, but he chalked it up to eccentricity. Everyone in the city was a little weird. The elevator didn't work, so he hauled his suitcase up 5 flights of creaking stairs, each step groaning like it resented his weight. The hallway on the 5th floor was unlit. A single bare bulb flickered near the stairwell, casting long shadows across the cracked floor tiles. Apartment 5 sat at the very end, its door chipped and scarred. The key turned too easily in the lock, and the door swung open on silent hinges. The air inside was heavy, a dense, unmoving stillness that clung to his skin. It smelled of dust, damp wood, and something faintly sweet underneath. The kind of smell that suggested the place had been sealed off far too long. The layout was simple. One bedroom, a narrow kitchen, a small living room with a single window overlooking an alley. The furniture was old and mismatched. A couch with sunken cushions, a coffee table with one leg shorter than the rest, and a dresser that stuck when pulled. Still, it was his. Quiet, private, and most importantly, cheap. The first night passed uneventfully. Marcus was exhausted from the move, and he fell asleep with the hum of the city in the background. But on the second night, something changed. It started with a whisper. He was brushing his teeth when he heard it, soft, like someone murmuring just behind the bathroom wall. He paused, foam on his lips, and turned off the faucet. Silence. Then again, a low, breathy voice. "Don't open." He blinked. The walls were thin. Maybe it was a neighbor. But the apartment next door, 5B, was sealed shut with a padlock chain and yellowed, out-of-service tape stretched across the door. That night, the whispering came again. Louder. Multiple voices now, overlapping, like a choir speaking in reverse. "Don't look at the walls," one hissed. Another, "He's watching." Marcus sat upright in bed, heart pounding. The whispers faded just before dawn. The next day, he tried to distract himself. He went for a walk, got coffee, browsed bookstores, anything to avoid being in that apartment. But when he returned that evening, he noticed something strange. The furniture had shifted slightly. Nothing major, just enough to make him question his memory. And the air felt colder, denser. That night, the whispers returned, earlier this time. 1:48 a.m. He tried recording them with his phone. The screen flickered and the recording app froze. When he finally managed to hit record, the voices stopped. The next morning, he played the audio back. What he heard made his stomach drop. "Marcus," the voice said. "Clear. Direct. Why did you come here?" He dropped the phone. As the days passed, things escalated. Lights flickered constantly. Water from the tap ran rusty, then pitch black for 3 seconds before returning to normal. He found his closet door open every morning, though he closed it tightly each night. He tried to leave, but the front door wouldn't open. Not locked, just stuck, like the building was holding it shut. The windows, too, wouldn't budge. When he banged on the glass, he realized no one walked that street. Not ever. Not once. The city was there, but distant, muffled like a memory. On the 6th night, Marcus awoke to a new sound. Knocking. Slow, rhythmic, and wrong. It wasn't from the door, but from within the walls. He pressed his ear to the living room paneling and heard scratching. Then a voice, low and wet. "Help me." He ripped the wallpaper off in a panic. Beneath it, the walls weren't drywall. They were wooden boards, aged and splintered, etched with hundreds of deep scratches. Finger length, nail thick, and something moved from inside the wall. A groan, a shifting pressure like something turning over in its sleep. He stumbled backward. The floor under his feet pulsed. That night, he didn't sleep. At 2:17 a.m., the apartment went utterly silent. Not just quiet, void of sound. Even his breathing sounded muffled. Then, the hallway light flickered back to life, and under the crack of the front door, he saw movement. A shadow passed by, then stopped, and the whispering returned, all around him, not from any one direction. He's here. He sees you. He remembers. In the mirror above the sink, Marcus saw something standing behind him. Tall, distorted. Its eyes were pits of shadow, and its mouth stretched unnaturally wide, like a tear in flesh. When he turned, there was nothing. But in the mirror, the figure remained. He smashed the glass. The next morning, he discovered something else. A door where no door had been. In the bedroom, hidden behind the dresser, now pushed aside, a thin, iron handle embedded in the wall. His hand shook as he reached for it. Inside was a narrow crawl space, lined with red-stained wood. A single light bulb hung from a wire, swinging without wind. On the floor lay a pile of clothes, shoes, and a journal. The pages were brittle. The entries dated back years. Can't leave. Can't scream. Can't die. The last page read, "He lives in the walls. He feeds on fear. I'm next." Marcus slammed the hidden door shut and ran. This time, the front door opened. He burst into the hallway, panting, and took the stairs 3 at a time. But when he reached the lobby, it was gone. Instead, more hallway. Endless. Dim. The numbers on the doors all read 5A. He was still on the 5th floor. Always on the 5th floor. The walls began whispering again. He turned back, only to find his apartment door wide open. And inside, standing in the center of the room, was his reflection, smiling but not with his eyes. That's the last thing the building security cameras recorded. Marcus was never seen again. But some nights, new tenants claim they hear someone whispering through the vents. Don't mess with the walls. And sometimes, if the lights flicker just right, apartment 5's door can be seen, just barely ajar. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Join me next time for more unbelievable tales on Campfire Whispers.